I dive deep into Madison, Ohio's darkest secrets, and see if I can uncover the truth behind the town's hidden mysteries. Madison, Ohio, a small town with a population of just over 3,000 people. But don't let its size fool you. This town has a reputation for being one of the darkest and most mysterious places in the Mid-State. Madison has a history of unexplained events, eerie legends, and unsolved mysteries that have left many scratching their heads. One of the most central issues in Madison is its high crime rate, with reports of murder, arson, and theft being commonplace. On top of this, the town has a history of corrupt law enforcement, with many officers being accused of misconduct and cover-ups. Another issue in Madison is its high rate of paranormal activity, with many residents claiming to have seen ghostly apparitions and experienced unexplained occurrences. The town is also home to several abandoned buildings and secret tunnels, which have only added to its mystique. Many believe that Madison's dark history began with its founding, when the town was built on top of an ancient Native American burial ground. This has led to rumors of curses and hauntings, with many believing that the town is still paying the price for its desecration of the land. Urban legends abound in Madison, with stories of ghosts, monsters, and supernatural beings being passed down from generation to generation. One of the most famous legends is that of the Madison Witch, a woman who was accused of witchcraft in the 1800s and was supposedly hanged in the town square. One of the most fascinating and disturbing stories to come out of Madison is that of the tunnel monsters. According to legend, a group of men built a network of tunnels beneath the town in the early 1900s, but what they uncovered was beyond their wildest nightmares. The tunnels were said to be inhabited by strange creatures, some of which were even rumored to be human hybrids. The story goes that the men were driven mad by what they saw, and many of them disappeared never to be seen again. The tunnels themselves were said to be cursed, and many believe that they still exist today, hidden beneath the town. But there's one secret that stands out above the rest, one that will make your skin crawl and leave you wondering how such a thing could have happened in a small town like Madison. In the 1970s, a group of residents stumbled upon a series of hidden rooms beneath the local hospital, and what they found was shocking. Inside the rooms were the remains of countless individuals, many of whom had been experimented on and subjected to gruesome medical procedures. The worst part, many of the victims were children. The incident was quickly covered up, and the hospital was shut down, but the questions still remain. What happened to those children? And why was such a heinous crime allowed to occur in the first place? Today, Madison, Ohio remains a town shrouded in mystery, with many of its secrets still hidden from the public eye. But one thing is certain, this town has a dark side, and it's not for the faint of heart. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the heart of Madison's darkness. If you've got any thoughts on the town's secrets, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you want to explore more mysterious towns, be sure to check out our video on the creepiest places in America. The Shadows of Madison, Ohio. Part 1. I used to think small towns were meant to feel cozy, like a slice of America frozen in time, where everyone knew each other's secrets. But Madison, Ohio population just over 3,000 was different. Its secrets didn't bind the community together. They pulled it apart like ancient curses wound around every soul here. I first learned about Madison through a series of articles that never seemed to go away. Headlines about a sudden striking murders, unexplained fires, disappearances. At the same time, something kept drawing me in. Perhaps it was the rumors of a Native American burial ground beneath the town center, or the stories of the Madison witch, said to haunt the old courthouse where she'd been hanged in the 1800s. So, in a moment of twisted curiosity, I decided to go see it for myself. I arrived late on a foggy October night. Madison didn't look like a place where nightmares roamed freely. But as I passed a boarded-up building, the former hospital, rumored to have once held dozens of unmarked graves, in its basement I felt a prickling at the back of my neck. Old myths often hide in plain sight, like vines creeping along an abandoned house, leaving subtle hints of something sinister underfoot. Locals were hard to come by that first night. Most people were holed up inside, their curtains drawn. I walked through town, glancing down quiet streets, noticing the occasional flicker of candlelight. Despite its size, Madison had an unusual number of abandoned buildings, schools, factories, and homes with windows as black as the night. One place I couldn't stop staring at was the old public hospital, long since closed. The structure was daunting, with rows of windows that seemed to watch me. Its front steps were cracked, and the once grand pillars were now cracked, too, leaning as though exhausted from decades of holding the weight of what the townspeople dared not remember. Legend had it that some secret society of doctors performed twisted experiments in hidden rooms beneath the hospital's floorboards, using children as unwilling subjects. Every resident seemed to have a second-hand story, a friend's uncle, a former nurse about sounds from below, and the occasional flicker of movement behind those deadened windows. Curiosity gnawed at me, and I decided to come back in daylight. The following morning, I noticed the town square was oddly quiet. People walked with their heads down, never making eye contact, almost like shadows of people who had once been alive here. I stopped at a diner, hoping to pry some information from the locals. "Don't go near the tunnels," the waitress told me, her voice barely above a whisper. Her name tag read Sylvia. "I don't know who you are or why you came, but trust me, you don't want to know what's down there." I nodded, feigning ignorance, but my interest had only grown. She must have seen it in my eyes because her face went pale as she glanced around the room. Sylvia leaned in closer, her breath quickening as she continued in a hushed tone. "They say they're still down there, those things that never should have been born. Just don't be there at night, not in the town center. That's when they come out." That night, against every warning, I went back to the center of town. I kept my distance from the old hospital, but something else caught my attention. A narrow, nearly hidden grate in the sidewalk just off the main road. My flashlight beam barely penetrated the darkness below, but what little I saw showed me a glistening, wet stone floor and what looked like scratch marks along the walls. The tunnel was there, waiting, breathing almost as if it had secrets to share.